Hello, this is video lesson number 5. Today we're going to be looking at some more of our classmates' models. And while we're looking at the models today, I want you to think about 4 things. It'd be really helpful if you kind of took a sticky note or a pad of paper or something to write with and kind of jotted notes as this video is going, because later on we're going to be doing a Padlet where you're going to have to put in these 4, some information into these 4 categories, like 4 little sticky notes. So while I'm sharing these models, I want you to think about what are some things that all of the models that you've seen so far have in common? What are some key differences between the models? What are some new questions you have? Because we already generated a really big list of questions, but I bet that you guys have even more. And what experiments could we do to answer some of those questions? So the way that we do science is we have to find answers to these questions. So how could we investigate these questions to find some answers? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this link, and you're welcome to pause the video and click the link if you want to look at the models in more detail. But I'm just going to present out an assortment of models from your classmates that I saw after our modeling and revisions that we've done the past couple of days. And this way it kind of walks you through the models so that you're not missing anything. And again, you're just kind of taking notes, either on a spare piece of paper, sticky note, or in a doc about things that they have in common, key differences, questions, and experiment ideas. So if you click this link right here, it'll take you to the models. It'll take you here. My computer just goes slow when I click it. So here we go. So again, I did not create these. These are your classmates' models. And again, I don't have every single person's model today. It would just take a really long time to look through everybody's, for you guys to look through every single model in your classroom. So I'm just kind of picking out a few to share that seemed kind of unique and, or that were kind of similar to all the other ones I saw. So here we go. So in this model, what I see, so remember our driving question is, how does a small seed become a giant sequoia tree? And so I see our small seed, they have the length and the mass here, and they said sequoias need water, especially when first planted, to help them grow and keep them alive. I think I'm gonna use my pointer to help. So they have, they use their color-coded key here to say that blue is representing that need for water. Over here in orange, that's the sunlight and heat. So they said that they need both sunlight and heat, I guess, to grow. And then over here in brown, it says when the sequoia sprouts, it will sprout roots into the ground. Roots help find nutrients deep in the ground and help keep the tree planted. And then over here in red, representative of time, sequoia trees need lots of time to grow. And they were even more specific down here and said the tree on the right is 2,000 years old. And then below, they also said sequoia tree grows from seed to giant tree when it gets the correct amount of sunlight and water. There also might be other factors to growth of the sequoia tree, but those are the main 2. Sequoia trees can survive high heat because their main location is in California. Tells me that these tiny seeds and huge trees can survive harsh weathers and live longer. So those are some of the main things we have here in our first model. In model number 2, I have the word photosynthesis here, not a description of it, but a good word that I think was on a lot of people's minds. Maybe you've heard of it before, but aren't sure what it means. They said the tree is very tall, showing that it must always grow through all conditions. They said the tree is tall, showing it needs more resources. They got a picture of dirt, water. I think this maybe is showing different conditions going along with this. They have a picture of oxygen, time, a harsh winter, and more data about the tree over here. The next model, we got cut off a little bit, but I think I can tell you what it says. So maybe if I, let's see. Here we go. Oh, maybe it is cut off a little bit. That's okay. Okay, so this is model number 3. It says, I predict that when a sequoia tree is growing, it may need shade from other trees. so the soil won't get too dry. I believe this because over the summer I had a tropical rose. When it was by itself in the hot sun, it didn't do too well, but when I watered it, it came back alive again. But when it was really sunny, my rose plant was in the shade with other plants. It didn't dry up nearly as bad as it would have by itself. I predict that along with these other things, the sequoia tree definitely needs time to grow, especially since it took the sequoia in the picture about 2,000 years to get that huge, because I'm guessing time's a big factor in the growth of these trees. I predict that sequoia tree needs oxygen to grow because not only do trees release oxygen, but most trees and plants need oxygen to grow. And so do practically all living things, I'm guessing. I predict that the sequoia tree needs water to grow. This is because this is the way that plants and other things need water to survive. I predict that sequoia trees need soil to grow because almost all plants need soil to grow to get nutrients. So to me, it makes sense the sequoia would need this resource as well. Since it is a plant, not just dry dirt, it needs to be moist and be more successful. I predict that the sequoia tree needs sunlight and to be prosperous and grow. I think this way because living things would die without the sun. Since plants are living things, it makes sense that it too would need sunlight. So I had some good written descriptions here to go along with the pictures. The next model, I think this is model number 4. They said sequoia tree needs water or rain to grow. Sequoia tree needs sunlight to grow. By receiving sunlight, the tree can use photosynthesis to grow well. So I see that same word again. This picture is a fertilizer. Fertilizer is a lot like food for plants. If a person needs food to grow, so does plants. Seeds also need the perfect environment to grow in. By this, I mean the seed needs to grow in a moist environment. And this does not just apply to sequoia seed, but any tree needs time to grow. And they have their data here as well. I think everybody has pretty much the same data. I don't know if you look closely. The next model, good soil can help the seed grow better and quicker. They have a picture of soil, sun, rain. It says the seeds need many things to grow, including sunlight, rain, water, and soil. They have a picture of a sequoia sapling. They have the length and mass of the sequoia seed. The seed first becomes a sprout, then a sapling, and then a small tree. Slowly, it will get bigger and bigger until it's fully grown. Trees need a lot of time to grow into a big tree like this. It can take 2,000 years. I lost track of which number we're on, but this is the next one. We have a picture of some sun and rain. It says must have oxygen. Any plant needs sun and rainwater to grow, so this tree probably would need it too. The seed will grow into a sapling. It'll eventually get taller. The trunk will get thicker. The leaves will start to grow. It needs lots of space to grow. The soil needs to be good and rich. Must have leaves on top of it to reach sunlight and get the nutrients it needs. And it'll get to its maximum height and width. So here, there's another picture of kind of like what it would look year after year in a sequoia forest. Next model, trees need soil because soil is like storage for the energy and water. Trees need oxygen because they have to release some of it to power their metabolisms. Trees need the energy from the sun to create the kind of sugars, and without sugars, trees won't be able to grow. Trees need water because water helps create oxygen, and water also moves nutrients through the tree. And trees grow faster when they are younger, like humans, but when they're older, it takes longer. That's why it takes many years for a tree to get to its maximum size. In the next model, there's a key here: sun, soil, dirt, water, sequoia seed, carbon dioxide, and time. They said good soil is probably needed. Some water is likely needed. Sun and water provide what the seed needs to grow into a big tree. They also have a picture of the stages of growth. 2,000 years of age is the tree at the end. And the trees use carbon to grow bark. So places with a lot of carbon nearby is great for the sequoia to grow. So they had that picture of carbon dioxide here. All right. I think that's the last one. Let's make sure. Yep. Okay. So again, hopefully while you're watching those, you were able to stop and pause. If you missed something, pause, go back, or click on the link and check out on your own speed if you feel like I missed something, but I kind of wanted to present out to you some of your classmates' models, because if we were in class, I would have students share out your models, like tell me what you did. So I wanted to kind of replicate that experience and for you guys to get some even more ideas of how some of your classmates were thinking, so that it can help us together as a class figure out how we're going to answer all these questions in this unit. So again, hopefully you're able to figure out the commonalities, differences, questions, and experiments. So now this is your assignment for today. So you're going to be doing a Padlet. It's kind of like a Jamboard, but it's a little different. I just thought it was a little more organized, and it's easier to kind of to organize it, in my opinion. So you're going to click on your blocks Padlet, and all of the links should work. If you have an issue with a link or something, definitely message me ASAP so that I can know. And you are going to, under each Padlet, you're going to add a sticky note under each column. So there's those 4 columns I told you about: compare, contrast, questions, and investigation ideas. And your job for today is to add at least 1 sticky note under each column. And the sticky note automatically is named with yourself, so you don't have to add your name today. So here's a sample. I put in there a sample of each type. So you can't steal mine because I already did it. But it's okay if some of your classmates and you have similar things, but try to be unique too. So for the comparison, really look through those models and think back to the other models you saw earlier in the week and your own model, and think about what are some things that all the models or almost all the models had in common. So one thing that I noticed that all the models had in common was that everybody listed water somewhere on their models. So the way that I did this in Padlet is I just clicked the plus sign and I added a sticky note, and you can get creative and add colors and stuff like that. But make sure the information's there before you get fancy with your colors and stuff. The next column's contrast. So things that are different about our models. So I'm staying with the same theme here, but you can kind of go with a different theme if you want to. But I noticed that even though all the models talked about water, and throughout all 105 models that I looked at, almost everybody talked about water, but the type of water that people talked about were different. So some people talked about rain, whereas some people talked about water in general. Some people had a picture of like a watering can or a hose. Some people had a picture of a rain cloud. So that was something that I noticed was different about the different models. A question. So this could be something new that you're wondering, that you just kind of thought of, or it could be something that you like disagree with in a model. Like maybe somebody put one thing and you didn't put that because you don't think that's right. That's okay. That maybe is a question that we need to investigate. So the question that I put was, how much water do sequoia trees need? And then the last one, investigation ideas. So this is where we're going to like have all the fun parts of our unit. We're going to actually get to do some experiments and investigations and learn some stuff. So all of our questions we're going to need to find answers to. And it's kind of boring if we just Google it for all of the questions. And it's not really authentic. And Google doesn't always have the best resources. So we're going to try to, as much as possible, have more authentic investigations and try to figure out how we can answer these questions in a real and meaningful way. So I said we could do an experiment to see if a sequoia tree grows best with different amounts of water. So maybe take one tree and water it every day, one tree, water it twice a day, one tree, water it once a week, and see which one grows the best. Or maybe if we don't have sequoia trees to test it on, we could just test it on like a regular plant or something. Like, I don't know, not that sequoias aren't regular, but just like some plant that we know can grow in Connecticut. I have no idea if sequoias can grow in Connecticut, but we could find out. So I hope that makes sense. I'm not sure if you guys have used Padlet a lot. So if you're having any issues, please let me know. This is actually my first time using Padlet. So if there's like glitches and stuff, let me know so that I can address it. You are going to have some work time now. So like I mentioned in the beginning of class, I'm still going to be here. I might just mute my mic and camera so you don't hear my toddler running around in the background. But I'm here. I'm here to answer your questions. I'm here to chat with you. So if you are in here, just let me know. If you have a question, if you want to log out and log back in case you have a question, that's fine. But don't forget that what time your next class starts at so that you're not late. And when you're done, I know there's nothing to submit. I'm going to be checking the Padlet at the end of the day. So make sure you get those 4 sticky notes in there. And then at the end of the day, I'm going to check your Padlets, make sure that everybody put the 4 sticky notes in they were supposed to. But on Google Classroom, just mark it as done and submit it, even though there's not like a doc or anything to submit today. Coming up next, we're going to look at related phenomena, and we're going to start really planning some investigations and start experimenting. So I can't wait. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.